Like, look, it's relief for one person. It's relief for one person, and it's Stephanie White. Let's be completely honest. Like, it is not a relief for Aaliyah Boston knowing for a fact Caitlin Clark is out. Like, it's not some sort of, oh, you know what, that's a relief. You know, we don't even have to wonder whether or when Caitlin's coming back. We just know she's not coming back. Like, there's no relief in that.
The WNBA is once again in the spotlight, but this time, it's not because of a bad call or an on-court clash. It's something much deeper. Rumors surrounding Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White and franchise star Caitlin Clark have taken a strange turn, leaving fans stunned and wondering what's really going on behind the scenes of this once promising duo.
Stephanie White has chosen Kelsey Mitchell over Caitlin Clark, and that's just flat out the truth. Stephanie White wants to run this offense through Kelsey Mitchell, and she says it herself right here. She wants Kelsey Mitchell to keep firing. At one point in the game, Kelsey Mitchell was 2 for 14. And we already know Caitlin Clark came out on the Sue Bird podcast and said that Stephanie White don't want her shooting.
What once looked like a dream partnership has slowly spiraled into something resembling a nightmare for Caitlin Clark and her loyal fan base. The signs are piling up, and the truth is getting harder to ignore. It's starting to seem like Stephanie White might actually prefer coaching the Indiana Fever without her brightest star on the court.
The Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston deadly connection, pick and roll, two-man game connection that has worked this whole season, gone. Poof. The one thing that was in existence that actually worked, that felt like a little bit of something offensive that worked, gone.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, because this next part is where things get explosive. The real bombshell dropped when Stephanie White made what might go down as one of the most tone-deaf comments in recent WNBA memory. While addressing Caitlin Clark's indefinite injury absence, White seemed to let her guard slip, revealing how she really feels about the situation. "I think that's big," White said, referring to Clark being out. "Just the mindset of our group, to know that we've got what we've got to continue to grow and connect in those ways." But it was what came next that truly shocked fans. White added that Clark's absence had actually brought a sense of relief and focus to the team, a comment that instantly raised eyebrows and set off a storm of reactions across the league.
I think that's big. Head coach Stephanie White agreed. Just the mindset of our group to know what we've got, whenever we got what we got, to continue to grow and connect in those ways. And is she available? Is she not available? Will she practice? Will she not practice? And that's a sort of disruption that comes with that. So there's clarity. I think it's good for everybody. It's good for Caitlin too. She doesn't feel any kind of way. She can just approach and attack her rehab one day at a time. I think this is crazy. I think it's crazy trying to make an argument.
Relief. Let that word sink in for a moment. The head coach of the Indiana Fever just admitted that not having Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest star, the player who single-handedly dragged this franchise out of obscurity, somehow brings a sense of relief to her team. It's a statement that's as shocking as it is revealing, and it raises a question no one thought they'd have to ask. Has the Fever's own coach grown tired of the very player who revitalized her team?
Y'all created this mess. She just sits here and tells you, oh, it's better than we know. You knew last week. You knew 10 days ago. You knew dating back to the 14th of July when the injury happened. You knew it then. You knew that she was not going to be able to play. But y'all ran with this narrative. You continue to do it. Oh, it's day to day, or it's this. No, you always knew. So you making some excuse now for why you don't play well? That's on you, Stephanie White.
So now it's about excuses? That's on you, Stephanie White. This isn't just a slip of the tongue or a poor choice of words. It's a revealing look inside the mindset of a coach who seems genuinely uneasy leading a generational talent. When your star player is the reason millions are tuning in, when she's selling out arenas and single-handedly boosting the league's bottom line, the last emotion you should feel when she's sidelined is relief.
I think it's a really weird way of wording things. I think they word it in a really weird way, being like, oh, you know, it's going to help us knowing that she's officially out. Like, let's be real, it's a groin injury. She's not going to be out. She was not going to be back for the Vegas game. She was not going to be back for the last Liberty game. She's not going to be back for the Liberty game before that. She's not going to. We know she's not going to be back for the Sky game. Like, we know she's not going to be back until at least like the 8th of August. At least the 5th of August. Let's be real. At least the 5th of August. So like, I'm sorry, but how is it a relief knowing that Caitlyn not having to worry about whether Caitlyn will or won't practice? You know she's not practicing right now.
White's troubling remarks about Clark didn't end there. Throughout the season, she's made several comments hinting that she genuinely believes the team performs better without its biggest star. When asked about how the Fever's style changes with and without Clark on the floor, White delivered another eyebrow-raising take. She claimed that in Clark's absence, the team does more off-ball actions, leading to quicker ball movement. She even added that while they lose size on defense, they gain speed. Fans were stunned and furious. The implication was hard to miss. So without Clark, the ball moves faster and the defense improves? Nice. Why even have Caitlyn then? Sure, that last part might have been said sarcastically by fans online, but the concern behind it was very real. Indiana's own coach seemed to be suggesting that the Fever actually played better basketball without their best player on the floor.
Let me tell you something. Y'all do not move the ball better without my Caitlyn Clark, aka my precious CC. At the end of the day, y'all have only won 4 games and recorded 4 games where y'all had 20 assists as a team at the end of the day. Caitlyn Clark, aka my precious CC, she averages 7 to 9 assists a game. You hear me? Because she moves the ball and get everybody open, because everybody and their mama and their grandma be double teaming and triple teaming her, and her team is lazy when it comes to setting screens for her.
The pattern didn't stop there. White continued to double down with yet another revealing comment about the Fever's supposed defensive improvement without Clark. I think first and foremost, defensively we've been better, White admitted, discussing how the team performed in Clark's absence. She went on to praise their consistency in coverages and high attention to detail, but only when Clark wasn't on the floor. What's even more unsettling is White's growing fixation on crafting a team identity that doesn't center around Caitlyn Clark. Time and time again during each of Clark's injury absences, White has highlighted how the Fever have found a little more of an identity defensively without their superstar. A refrain that's starting to sound less like analysis and more like an agenda.
Because without her, they get to play that slow down, walk the ball up the floor basketball that she likes to play over the breakneck, let's run this ball down the floor type of basketball that Caitlyn Clark and the team actually likes to play. But you sitting here saying, oh yeah, well, we know what we got going forward. You guys have been the one with the nonsense. So what is the real injury? What's the real status?
White's fixation on ball movement without Clark exposes a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes great basketball teams truly successful. The San Antonio Spurs didn't win titles by moving the ball without Tim Duncan. The Golden State Warriors didn't change the game by playing without Stephen Curry. Great teams don't sideline their stars, they build around them. Yet, Stephanie White seems intent on proving that the Fever can thrive in spite of Caitlyn Clark rather than because of her. It's as if having a generational talent is a problem to manage, not a gift to maximize. That mindset has bled into her coaching decisions. When Clark returned from her groin injury, White made the baffling choice to move her off the ball and start Ari McDonald alongside her. A move fans immediately recognized for what it was, an attempt to reduce Clark's control of the offense. And it doesn't stop there. White's entire strategic approach seems to work against Clark's strengths. Instead of empowering her to orchestrate the offense, White has consistently placed her in roles that limit her influence, restrict her creativity, and blunt her impact on the game. This isn't player development. It's player suppression masquerading as coaching strategy.